Did you know that people are more likely to conform to group opinions even when they know they're wrong? Studies show that around 75% of individuals will go along with the crowd just to fit in. This got me thinking, why do we do things that deep down we know don't make sense? Is it because we're afraid of being judged? Or is it because we genuinely believe that the group knows better? Whatever the reason, it's clear that societal pressures have an enormous impact on our daily decisions. Think about it. How many times have you gone along with something just because everyone else was doing it? You might not have wanted to, but the fear of being left out or being seen as different was just too strong. And before you knew it, you were doing something that you wouldn't normally do. It's a strange phenomenon, and it's one that affects us all. Whether it's trying a new trend, buying the latest gadget, or even getting a certain haircut, we're constantly being influenced by those around us. And more often than not, these influences can lead us down a path of poor decision-making. So, let's dive deeper into this concept and explore how society shapes our behaviors and decisions. From a young age, we're taught to conform to societal norms. We're told to fit in, to be like everyone else, and to avoid standing out from the crowd. And while this might seem like a harmless lesson, it can have serious consequences later on in life. When we're constantly trying to fit in, we sacrifice our individuality and our ability to think critically. For example, think about the last time you saw a popular hashtag on social media. Did you stop to think about whether it was actually worth sharing, or did you just jump on the bandwagon because everyone else was doing it? I'm guilty of it too. We all are. But the problem is, when we're not thinking for ourselves, we're opening ourselves up to manipulation. Manufacturers know this all too well. They use clever marketing tactics to make us believe that we need their products even when we don't. They prey on our insecurities and our desires, and before we know it, we're buying into something that we don't even need. And then there's the issue of groupthink. This is when a group of people collectively agrees on something, not because it's the right thing to do, but because no one wants to rock the boat. It's a dangerous phenomenon that can lead to some terrible decisions being made. Take the example of the Bay of Pigs invasion. This was a failed military invasion of Cuba that was authorized by John F. Kennedy in 1961. It was a disaster, and it's widely acknowledged that it was a result of groupthink. None of the advisors wanted to speak out against the plan, even though they knew it was flawed, because they didn't want to be seen as negative or unpatriotic. In reality, groupthink can happen in any situation, whether it's in business, politics, or even our personal lives. And it's only when we take a step back and look at the bigger picture that we realize how damaging it can be. Another example of societal pressure is social media. Now, I'm not saying that social media is inherently bad. It has its uses, and it can be a powerful tool for connecting with others. But let's be real, it's also a breeding ground for comparison and competition. We compare our lives to the highlight reels of others, and we feel inadequate as a result. We buy into the idea that we need more followers, more likes, and more comments to be worthy. And before we know it, we're spending hours of our day trying to keep up with the latest trends and gaining validation from strangers. Trends and fads are another way that society influences our decisions. Remember the time when skinny jeans were all the rage? Or when everyone was suddenly obsessed with fidget spinners? These things come and go, but the impact they have on our wallets and our self-esteem can be long-lasting. And then there's the influence of celebrities and influencers. We look up to them as role models, and we aspire to be like them. But the problem is, we're not always seeing the real deal. We're seeing a curated version of their lives, one that's been carefully constructed to make them seem more appealing and relatable. Fads and trends can also be used to manipulate us. Take the example of the latest detox teas or skinny pills. These products promise us the world, but in reality, they're often nothing more than a scam. And yet, we fall for them time and time again, simply because we're told that they're the key to success. But the most insidious form of societal pressure is perhaps the fear of being judged. This is what stops us from speaking out, from taking risks, and from being our true selves. We're so afraid of what others will think of us that we conform to the status quo, even when it goes against our values and beliefs. I remember when I was in high school and I wanted to pursue a career in the arts, but everyone around me was telling me that it was a risky career, that I should get a real job instead. And for a while, I listened to them. I almost gave up on my dreams because I was afraid of what others would think. But then I realized something. The only way to truly be happy is to be true to yourself. And that means taking risks, speaking out, and being willing to be judged. It's not easy, but it's the only way to live a life that's authentic and fulfilling. Throughout history, we've seen countless examples of people who have been influenced by societal pressures. From the Salem witch trials to the Holocaust, we've seen how easily a group of people can be manipulated into doing terrible things. But we've also seen examples of people who have resisted societal pressure, who have stood up for what they believe in, even when it's hard. These people are the heroes of our time, and they're the ones who inspire us to be better. So, what can we do to resist societal pressure? Firstly, we need to be aware of it. We need to recognize when we're being influenced, and we need to take a step back. We need to ask ourselves if we're doing something because we genuinely want to, or because we're trying to fit in. Secondly, we need to cultivate our critical thinking skills. We need to question everything, even if it's hard. We need to be willing to be wrong, and we need to be open to changing our minds. Finally, we need to surround ourselves with people who support and encourage us. We need to find our tribe, our community, and our voice. We need to be willing to speak out even when it's hard, and we need to be willing to listen to others, even when they disagree with us. It's not easy, but it's the only way to truly be free. And that's what I want to leave you with today. The knowledge that you have the power to resist societal pressure and to live a life that's true to yourself. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your own experiences with societal pressures in the comments below. If you want to learn more about the importance of individuality and critical thinking, check out my video on the dangers of conforming to societal norms. I'll see you in the next one.